What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. We've got more stuff. So my new soldering iron's turned up. I've got some of these inline 30 amp fuses. I also got a rebuild kit for the rear brake caliper as well. So that can all get stripped and shot blasted and painted and serviced and all that malarkey. So it's literally all just good to go like the front ones are. I do want to replace the bolts on them, but I'll get those at a later point, that'd be fine. So that can all happen at some point. I've also got my sheet of alley. It says 0.5mm on the outside, and I went, oh no. Opened it up and it's definitely 3mm. So we've got the alley that I need to make a few little brackets and doodads and whatnot, but also the big thing being the battery box. I've got a strap coming, got a couple of straps coming because I sell them in pairs. Until it gets here, I can't really do the back bit, but we could make a start on that as well. So that's all good to know. But I need to start. Basically, I just want to put stuff on the bike and not have to take it off again, because I've done that a couple of times now and it's doing my head in. So the exhaust, I've got some exhaust gaskets which obviously need to be fitted. I've got two sets of these, one for just the dyno run and cocking about with, and then I've got another set for the final build. These need to go on. I've got some stainless steel rod, so I could bend this up and make some spring hooks for that middle section. I've got the springs. And I want to shorten down that bolt on the rear master cylinder, just because it's close to the exhaust, and I don't want to have to. I mean, I could do that later on, I suppose. I could. I mean, it is close, but whilst I've got it all apart, I might as well just get it done now. So that's what I'm going to do to start off with, and then we're moving on to carbs and oil cooler and other gubbins, basically. So I've got a brew. Cue the montage. Right, he's all on. For real this time. It's just going around doing all those little jobs that need doing, basically, before you run it up. So we've got gaskets in the front, on the headers and whatnot. I've also done my little spring hooks. I've got springs either side now. It's, just bend up a piece of that stainless rod and 4 tacks to hold it on. It's just the same as the other ones have done. And I've also shortened up the bolt on the master cylinder, just so it's, it's nowhere near the exhaust now. So that's all good. It's all buttoned down. We've got washers in place. Well, I won't click when I did it. But it's on, it's fine, it's not going anywhere. However, I do need to. It's Friday, it's 12:36 and I need to chip off to my work. But, you know, at least all that lot's done, so at the weekend I can just crack on and get all the other bits and bobs done. So, I'm thinking oil cooler, carbs, pod filter and cables is what I'm thinking. But we'll have to wait and see. I'll be back. I'm back! It's Saturday. And I've got a really late start, it's 11 o'clock already. I should have been in here hours ago, but I wasn't because, you know, I just slept in. I slept in. First time in ages, but I slept in. Right, I really don't like them. See, they just clip on like that. I don't like it. Right, this is the oil cooler. This is probably the next job. This one's nasty as. Where are you? Can you see the back of that? There, that. You can see through bits of it. You can see through quite a lot of it actually. But all these dinked up fins and, you know, it's never going to do on the finished bike. However, for now, it's got a right clobber in the bottom of this as well. However, for now, this is going to do. Certainly for dyno run anyway. So, I need to get it mounted. The one that's coming is stock. It's exactly the same as this. So any fixings and stuff that I come up with will be good and they can stay on the bike. What I'm probably going to do, I think, just for now, because I need stuff out of the way so I can do the bottom mounts, is I'm just going to locate these two, put some holes in it and some sort of fixings, and probably going to need to turn up some little spaces or something as well, just because of the way the frame goes, but you'll see that in a minute. And then I'm probably just going to zip tie the bottom of it to the frame. So it'll be fixed there and it'll be zip tied here, where the hoses come down. It ain't going to go anywhere. It's going to be fine on a dyno because it's not getting bounced up and down and everything else. It just needs to cool the engine. However, to do that, I need to get the front of the bike out because I can't get in there to drill it. Right then. What is going to be the easy... Right, I'll just take all the front out. So the oil cooler wants to go up here somewhere. He wants to go up about there, like that. Because that way my lines is going to come down. You probably can't see. My lines is going to come down sort of between the outer two exhaust headers. I want it mounted up out the way like that. So that's all good. How are we doing from the side? See, he is hard up against it. I want a little bit of daylight here. I don't want this banging on the frame. So what we're probably going to do is make up some little spaces to go in the top here to bring it out just a little bit. And we're not talking much by any means. Probably about like that. So it's probably only like 3 or 4 mil. There's rubbers on the top here to isolate it, but I reckon something like that. And then for now, all we're going to do is zip tie this back to the frame. I'll put something in there just to stop things rubbing. Although it's all going to get, you know, stripped down and powder coated and stuff anyway, but I'd rather it wasn't bashing. And he can go in like that. Right, to the lathe. Right, so that's 86 plus 8. No, why is that so hard? 94. 94 hole centres. So now it just needs to get this in the middle. So the idea here is that I'm gonna mark it up underneath here now and get to everything where I want it. I'll put some, you know, just mark it up and get some idea as to where it's all going to sit. We'll drill some holes in it, and then I'm probably going to just weld a nut on the inside, just tack it on, and it will just be one tack. That's it for now, because that way I can bolt everything on, which will be fine, and then when we come to strip the bike down and do all the finished welding, then I can put, you know, a couple more tacks on each bolt, and, you know, they'll just get powder coated with the frame. So that's that. I need a centre line, don't I? Right, I'm not convinced I'm going to get a nut in the back here, because obviously, although this is, you know, reasonably flat across here, it is a little bit inset with that panel. You've got the tube that kind of, the tube comes further into this panel, and just looking at where my marks need to be, the tube is going to overhang on the back, so we might be doing this from the front. So what I'm thinking Where's my cooler? Right. I want it about like that. Stood out just a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot. Yeah. So spaces are the right thickness. What do I do? What do I do? Right, I'm thinking I might turn up something in steel, which has got a little thread that sticks out, so this actually goes onto a thread. And then these spaces can go on the front side of it, and then a nut down on top of that. We'll get like a dome nut or something just to like finish it off. I think that's what I need to do. I think, right, let me have a look, see what I've got. Right, he's on. And he's not going anywhere. Ignore the fact it looks a little bit scabby, but you know, that's because it's a scabby all cooler. We are going to have a pretty one on there when it turns up. What was going to be a real simple job of drill a hole, shove a bolt through it and just tack a nut on the back of it turned into a machining mission. I ended up making a couple of, I don't even know what you call it. It's like a stud that's weldable, that's got a big fat washer on it, the same size as that. But we drilled the holes where we need to. The little bit goes through the sheet, and then it's just plug welded on the back. So, you know, it's really awkward to get in there actually. It is is a bit blobby, it's like tacked on and whatnot. Ain't going anywhere, but it does need to be made to look a little bit nicer, I reckon. I'll get some pictures so you can see it, but it stood out, I don't know, 4 or 5 mil from the frame tubes, like the back of the core. So nothing's rubbing up against anything else, which is all peachy. If you push the bottom of it, it does move slightly, so we do need to have something on the bottom of it. The original one, I think, it just had like this hooky thing that came out of the frame that the bottom of the cooler kind of sat on, and then you bolted it in, and as you bolted it in, it lifted it up off the hook. So it wasn't really doing anything. But we'll come up with something. That'll probably be a peg with a rubber on it, or I don't know. So we'll dream up something. But we ain't going to need it for dyno. I can get me all lines on, I can route them down. I've still got those bosses where we was going to have engine mounts, and I'm just going to P-clip the hoses in those bits, and I'll weld up the other two once all the frame's pulled apart. But we is in. I really wanted to get the carbs and stuff sorted and the throttle cables hooked up, but I run out of time because I didn't think I was going to be doing all that machining. Stupidly enough, I made a tailstock die holder for my lathe, and I've got it in work at the minute. I could have done with that today, mind you, it's not finished, but that would have made it a damn sight easier. But anyway, it is now 4:45, so I do need to tip off and go and have some scoff and go and see Sam, because she's just come back from a birthday party. So that's where I'm going to leave it for this one, but thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Laters!